little Humane Society pit stop. It's good to get some feline action. It's good to, honestly, I mean, it's pretty much freaking everywhere. So if you've never, let's say you've got an apartment at this point, it's a little trickier if you're still living with your parents, because then you're kind of subject to whatever their deal is when it comes to having pets running around. But I don't know. I mean, let's be real. Even if your dad says, hey man, no cats. I'm serious. Or your mom or whatever. If you just bring one home, I mean, what are they going to do? That's not advice. Yeah, that's definitely not advice. But yeah, I mean, especially, just underappreciated, you know? I mean, let's say you've got, I guess if you're a freshman or senior, just forgot the word sophomore. Freshman or sophomore in college, you're kind of dormant. But let's say you get an actual apartment your junior, senior year, or something else like that. Having a little cat running around, it's nice. It's definitely nice. Having two, even better, so that they can play around with each other when you're not home. If you've ever seen like somebody's indoor Ring camera footage of like when their pets just wait at the door all day for them to come back, I mean, that freaking sucks. You know, so if one's good, two's better. I'll just put it like that. But yeah, plan for today is going to be some hamstrings, and then it wouldn't be a full day of eating because I've already had meal number 1. But honestly, with how short hamstrings is, because I'm gonna have to full day of eating. Traveling tomorrow. It's gonna happen. It's not so crazy insane, but it'll definitely freaking happen. But let's get down to the basics of today's workout. Hamstrings. So, not the most, not the flashiest muscle group. Honestly, I think if we were to sit here and do like a muscle, just like a muscle rating scale, kind of all-inclusive, coolness factor, size factor, maybe appearance factor, hamstrings aren't huge on the list. You know, hamstrings are going to be beaten out. Hamstrings are going to be beaten by calves, I think. You know, I think most people are going to say calves above hamstrings, and we know how people are about training calves. Pretty sparse. But the way I look at it, and what motivates me to still want to hit my hamstrings and, you know, kind of have an equal devotion to all muscle groups, is, for one, just the net proportion factor. You know, if I want to grow my chest, I want to grow my legs, I want to grow my arms, I want everything to kind of, you know, progress in accordance with each other. I don't want to be the guy with like stick legs with like a huge torso. It's not really a cool look. And also it's just part of the deal, man. You know, you've got muscle in your frame, it should be trained. I was really specific about that mentality when I was a beginner. So what I would do is, when I would do calves, I'd also work the front of my calves, which I should probably do a little bit more now anyway, just because it's good for, I think I've heard it's good for your knees, like just that tie-in of like tendon into the top of your shin. But if you want to work the front of your calves, that's where like you're picking your feet up, like your toes toward your knee. You either need a gym that has like a really specific reverse calf raise, which is kind of tricky. Like those are not all over the place. Or what you can do, which is actually a pretty solid substitute, is stand up against a wall, put your feet about 1 foot's length away from the wall, so your legs are kind of at an angle, and then just raise your toes up. That action of that action of raising your toes will actually raise your entire body just a little bit, you know, like only, you know, about an inch and a half or so, but you'll feel it start burning the front of your calves. And what that'll work is essentially just these kind of cool, like tendony looking muscles that go all the way up, basically the outsides of your calves on the front side. So it just makes them look cool from the side. But I don't think you need to be doing those every calf workout. Maybe just throw them in every so often, you know. But overall, I don't know, again, back to why I like hamstring training, it also makes my pressing movements stronger. Because as much as you're going to think, okay, squats, leg press, Smith squats, hack squats, it's quads. That's a quad movement, you know. I think most times the equipment itself is even going to have a little anatomy chart of a dude where it highlights in red the muscles that are really going to get worked. Quads every time. But usually those charts are actually going to highlight your hamstrings as well, you know, because your entire kind of chain from your waist below gets involved in these pressing movements. Maybe not as much your calves, apart from just balance, but your hamstrings are obviously, your quads are extending your knee straight, right? So straightening out your quad, and then your hamstrings with your glutes are kind of working to pull your knee backwards towards your backside, right? So it's not like insane. I'm not going to squat and then get a hamstring pump, but they do get activated enough where, let's say somebody only ever trained their quads. Maybe let's imagine a universe where leg extension strength translated directly to squat strength. So this guy's been in the leg extension. He's been locked up. He's been in the leg extension for years. He's doing like 400 pounds, single leg. Just, his quads are insane, but his hamstrings have no development. If he got under a crazy heavy leg press or a squat, his hamstrings are going to go. I've tweaked my hamstrings doing heavy leg press. Not so much squatting, especially with an upright stance, but a bit. There's a bit of hamstring involved there. So for me, I'm thinking, all right, well, my hamstrings are going to be involved in giving me a pretty badass squat, which I just personally like, but also ties into building my legs. So, that's even more reason for me to hit them. Plus, if you've ever seen your hamstrings hang off of your legs, this is like if you're wearing shorter shorts and your butt is on like the edge of a seat and somehow there's a mirror right next to you. Usually it's going to be a gym scenario, but you never know. And you just see your hamstrings hang off you. May as well call them hang strings. It's just, I don't know, it's just cool, right? So that's kind of what gets me excited about it. But for most, if you don't have that, little neural connection of big hamstrings to somehow a dopamine release, that's the pathway, like big hamstrings, big squat, dopamine, hell yeah. Big hamstrings, bigger legs, dopamine, hell yeah. I guess those are the biggest ones, but that's what makes me excited about it. And if you need a little bit more motivation than that, just look up a Tom Platz's leg training video. There's kind of a reason why I haven't done like a full-on Tom Platz leg day yet, because just the workout's volume doesn't really kind of align with what I've been doing. But now that I say that, it's kind of like a call to action that maybe I should. At least just for the kick of it. But if you've ever seen videos of Tom Platz doing leg curls, it's just nuts. And leg extensions too, but the curls especially, because the partial reps on a set of curls, laying curls, I don't think I've ever actually seen him do seated curls in those old training clips. I'm sure he has, but I think laying curls are kind of his preferred version. And just wrenching weight around. Like, it's, if anything, I think that was my initial inspiration for actually wanting to kill hamstrings, just to kind of train like Tom, But there will be some RDL hip hinging movements today as well, because today is a today's just hamstrings only, no quads at all. So I've got basically two reasons for that. One, my quads are still kind of cooked from my last quad day. I want to give them some extra time to recover. But also, it's kind of tricky to do hamstrings with quads on the same day. At least full hamstrings with RDLs and hip hinging movements, which are going to be a little bit heavier, because those are going to kind of eat into your quad strength, And if I try to do that all after quads, it might just be a little much. So either way, I guess what I'm trying to say is having a day purely dedicated to hams isn't a bad approach, unless you really hit it from all angles. So seated curls are going to be involved, laying curls are going to be involved, standing single leg reverse curls are going to be involved on the leg extension, and then some RDLs, probably on the Smith machine. I think I really like cable RDLs, but sometimes you need a specific machine. I guess that's one more that could be on the list as a little bit of an upgrade in here. is one of those cable machines where the stack is normal weight, like it's just a standard heft stack, but the two sides of the cables are on these like robotic arms looking things where you can put them up, down, in, out. So if you set those up at the floor, pretty narrow, and then you stand on a little exercise block, it really lets you just freaking smash your hamstrings, because you can actually get really deep range of motion. You're not worried about the bar running into your knees or anything. It's just kind of a more natural movement, you know. But yeah, that's the plan there. So I can already feel some tingles from a scoop of Super Savage, or Super Savage. I don't know. It's written with a TH. I feel like this. Just, even if you feel silly, just call it Super Savage. But yeah, that'll be good. So if you're curious about the Band-Aid, why have I been rocking Band-Aids on my hand? Well, the day before my last quad day, actually no, was this 2 quad days ago? No, it was my last quad day down at Torture Gym. I was doing this leg extension. It was the one where the individual legs were loaded with plates, and I grab, well, as it would turn out, you grab a little area of the machine which you really shouldn't put your hand in, you know. So if I took a little more to think about it, I probably wouldn't have done that. But I essentially just guillotined myself, because I grabbed onto the steel support where this metal counterweight kind of slings straight down. And I guess I was really lucky. There's at least like a nearly hand thick amount of room between that moving piece of metal and then the still piece of metal, because if they were directly like gonna act on each other like scissors, I mean shit, I probably would have really hurt myself. But instead it just skinned me, which kind of sucked. That was yeah, so if you look close, I got a Band-Aid when I'm doing that heavy set of 5-plate squats right in the beginning of that, or no, I guess I did I have a Band-Aid in the beginning? Yeah, I definitely did, because I remember it was freaking hurting me to even grab onto the squat bar. So that kind of sucked. But yeah, really it's more of an aesthetic choice to throw a Band-Aid on it, just because it's a freaking gross scab. So yeah, man, I think that's basically all I got. I feel like I was about to say something, but now I forget. So how about we just get started instead of trying to think about it. So let's start with laying curls. And this stack, I mean, I say this every time I use it, this is a heavy ass stack. Something about the pulley ratio, I don't know. Because I mean, if you've ever been on a machine where the stack's kind of underwhelming and you can kind of just move the weight like nothing, you know, for a light squeezing set, I guess you're good. But for a really hefty one, you know, not awesome. So let's do 100. There's 150 available, and I think if I tried to throw around 150 right now, I'd be liable to maybe a tendon tear. Maybe not, but you know, 100 feels good to start. Let's just pair it with a good song and we'll be good. Yeah, there we go. Well, bring me the horizon. Okay. Okay. I think 2 more of those. Okay. 1 more. Come on. All right. Yeah, that's enough laying curls. Let's move on. Let's hinge some hips. All right. This will be good. I like the controlled stability of the Smith over the barbell. You know, I don't mind dumbbell RDLs as well, but if I'm going to pick one here in this gym setup, it's definitely going to be the Smith. So only 2 plates and a feeler rep of 2. Definitely felt pretty heavy. But this is, there we go. Yeah, this is a little tricky of a movement. So we can, let's break it down for a second. And I haven't been doing these over the last few months just because, you know, I've been maintaining my hamstrings with the curls. And RDLs are a bit more intensive, you know, glutes, lower back. But the way I imagine it is I kind of stand a little bit duck-footed, or I guess the opposite of duck-footed, where my toes are touching, but my heels are a little bit like turned. So imagine these are my feet. I'm standing a little bit like this. So my legs are turned inwards. So by doing that, I feel like it kind of lets me open up my hamstrings more. And I'm not thinking up exactly. I'm almost thinking like in, you know. Now, it's definitely just kind of a learned skill to flex your hamstrings like that. But you get used to it. Definitely with lighter stuff. Like even if I can move 3 plates, I think I'd only load my hamstrings up with 2 plates worth of weight. And then I just lift that 3rd plate with my glutes and lower back. So definitely a movement where you can be a little more, conservative? A little more conservative. But let's get started. Straps I'd recommend. But I don't know. If you want to get some grip training through an RDL, that's not a problem either. All right. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Let's do 2 more of those. So it's hard to end these on failure because I'm just going to end up using my lower back and glutes. So you kind of have to call it when you can feel your hams are tapped out. Yeah, it's been a while since I've hip hinged, but I do think you're missing out if your off-season, like muscle gaining phases don't have a hip hinging movement. I think you can definitely get away without them in a diet. Like if you're trying to lean down, because dieting is the only case where I think you actually really can overtrain in the sense of like overworking some muscle groups too consistently. But even then, the word overtraining, not exactly right. It's more like under eating, you know. But if I'm well fed, dude, I don't want to come into the gym having to leave anything in the tank. So if it's hard to stand up tomorrow, honestly, that's a good thing. All right, come on. Okay. Hey! Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. One more. Should have worn a gray shirt, then I could see myself sweating. Putting a little extra juice in the tank with a spicy mango 3D. I'm not going to drink the whole thing because I already got like 300 milligrams of caffeine from the pre. But just a little extra bonus, especially on a leg day, quads or hamstrings. A little extra caffeine doesn't hurt me, at least. But I don't feel like I get super jittery. I know some guys where they got to go stim free only. Like any amount of caffeine gets them like, up past midnight when they should have been going to bed at 9. So, I guess that depends on your caffeine tolerance. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. Holy crap. All right. Let's think for a second. I'm not sure what I want to do next. I know I said I was going to get some light squeezing single leg work, but really 3 sets of RDLs, 3 sets of laying curls, and the laying curls were pretty freaking heavy. I might just be good right here. That's shit. That's the trifecta of hamstring training: laying curl, seated curl, RDL. Very nice. So that's where, sorry, I'm still winded from that set of RDLs. But that's where I look at, different training splits or workouts, and as much benefit as I think there definitely is in terms of coming up with new shit, changing it up. At the end of the day, let's look at hamstrings, for example. If you said, Sam, guess what? You've been cursed. You can only ever do seated curls, laying curls, and RDLs for your hamstrings. Every other movement off limits. I'm cool with that. Shit. Even if I didn't even change up the styles of sets, this is 9 workouts right here, right? 3 movements. Let's say I did 3 sets each. I can do them in any order I freaking want. I guess technically 81 different ways if we're just going on a set-by-set basis. If I wanted to do like all laying, all seated, all RDL, 1 seated, 1 laying, 1 RDL, 1, like 9 squared type deal. But, 9, that's like the next month of hamstring workouts. Could be just like this, but doing laying doing seated instead of laying first. Or doing RDLs instead of laying first. Or finishing with RDLs and doing laying seated RDLs. Right? So the basic skeleton of the workout is there. 3 different movements, 3 sets each, which is a solid amount of volume. Maybe you're an 8-set guy, so cut 1 set short. But you don't really have to overthink it too much. The main thing, if I'm going to grade somebody's workout, it's definitely not their movement selection. It's their effort. Effort has got to be the number one thing that I'd be looking for. Like, let's say somehow I was teaching a full-on, lifting, training, everything. I guess, let's say if I had a client and I was trying to coach somebody and I was looking at their training. Now, obviously, this is judged on my criteria. It's not objective in the world. I think it's good, but it's just my opinion. If they had a really fancy written out workout and I watched every set and I could tell they were slacking, I don't care how well the workout was written. You didn't execute. You kind of half executed, but honestly, I think if you half-ass it, you basically no-ass your gains. right? Like if I came in here and every set was half the intensity of what I'm doing, I don't think my hamstrings would really grow. They'd maintain. They wouldn't shrink, they would maintain, but I would not progress, right? So sometimes it's not about going smarter, it's just about going harder. Obviously still go smarter, but you know, that's my kind of ranking scale. I don't know why I still have my straps on. I don't need these for this. But 200 pounds out of the 300 available. This will be good. And I know I've got a good hamstring pump because I always put this paddle or this, what is this? This pad at this notch with this setup. I mean, nobody comes in here to mess with it. And I can already feel on a feeler rep I just did that I've got to really push this thing down to even get it to the height that I want. Okay. Two. Two. Oh, yeah. 2 more of these. And I got to get some boys in here to help me move some of this shit around. This machine's a little tight up against that one. But yeah, 2 more, and then hams are done. A little heavier for this one, 235. Come on. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. 1 more. Oh shit. Strong potential is the finisher, but only if I feel like I really get everything out of my hamstrings that I want. And that's what I mean. You know, I get this comment a lot, or at least every so often, where it's basically, you know, sometimes I'll do one movement and I'll say, that was good, but let's move on. It's just, I can kind of tell, like maybe when I was warming up, it felt cool. But if I grab a set of dumbbells for a pair of dumbbell curls, and instead of getting a feeling of like, I don't know, it's tricky to quantify, but instead of feeling like I really got everything out of my biceps in that one set as I wanted, and I can rack them and say, okay, well, I really did something there. If it kind of just feels like sometimes I'm going through the motion, and I'm physically focused. Like it's not like focus is the problem. Sometimes the set just doesn't click, you know? So if I'm doing hams like today, if I did one set of those RDLs and it wasn't clicking, I would, instead of just what I would describe as not wasting my time, but, you know, doing a movement which I'm not really in the groove with, I'd say, you know what, one and done, let's move on. Let's do something I know I'm going to like. So that's where it's not necessarily impulse. It's more like being able to pivot movements, all right? Like, you know, you must have felt this before. Maybe you're doing a tricep extension or a dip machine and it's just not, it doesn't feel like it should, you know, it's just a little off. I don't think you should do that movement if on that day it's just not clicking for you. Switch to something else. Do a rope, do an overhead extension, you know? Don't do junk sets. Even if you're bringing it, if something about it just doesn't really, like if you know you'd get a better pump doing a different movement, I think you already answered your own question. But it's kind of tricky to tell. So it's kind of you'll know it when you know it type situation. But even just fucking sitting here, my hamstrings are burning. So let's finish up. I'm not going to hold this one. I'm just going to burn them out. Come on. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, let's see how they're looking. All right, there we go. A little bit zoomed out. These, I need a specific lens. I need 100 of this style, but they're kind of tricky to find, you know. Or I guess maybe you don't know if you're not into some of these camera things. But quads are looking pretty standard, you know, just unpumped, but still veiny. I mean, shit, that's actually some pretty good separation. Still see medial, outer, and then teardrop of quads. Yeah, we got a couple of striations still, so I guess I'm not getting too soft too soon. But hamstrings are the real star of the show. So let's see. It's kind of hard to even really see any kind of detail. Plus, when they're pumped up, they just they get tight. They don't get as big, I feel. But let's see if we can kind of pop one out in a little side chest pose. Yeah, a little. This line of shadow, that indentation of quad, and then how your hamstring kind of creeps out the bottom. Yeah, that's what I want to see. And then calf-wise, that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying those lines. Like, that's not the front, or that's not the back side of my calf, but that's sort of creeping over the front. Yeah, I'm telling you, all you do is lean back against something. I guess let me pull these things up. And then you just kind of raise your feet like that. It's like you're doing the opposite of tapping your foot. It works. No machine necessary. But let's get back in the car and go eat something. All right, let me turn. There we go. Turn the fan down a little bit just so it's not so in your face loud. But yeah, it's nice getting in the car and then getting to cool off, which I guess is kind of the same thing even when you're trying to bulk up, or even when it's kind of the winter time, it's a little bit colder. Getting into a cold car, not so bad, especially post-workout. You're all done. You know, you're kind of, I guess it depends on how cold it is and how sweaty you are. There's a certain wind chill adding effect that comes with, you know, coming out drenching in sweat. And it's like 10, you know, and I'm not talking 10 Celsius if you're over in the UK. I'm talking 10 Fahrenheit. So that'd be in the negatives if we're talking Celsius. You know, that gets kind of cold, but don't have to worry about that for quite a freaking while. So now that it's getting warmer, the public pool is going to open up again. So sometimes sometimes I forget. Every 45 minutes, top of the hour, or 15 minutes before the top of the hour, it's Adult Swim, literally. So no kids allowed. So those are the 15 minutes of prime time real estate to jump on the diving board and bust out some freaking flips. The only problem is they don't like you doing gainers. They don't want you doing a reverse, like where you're, you know what a gainer is. Yeah, so you're kind of limited just to forward-facing stuff. But yeah, that'll be fun. Obviously, limber myself up. I don't want to get hurt. But I mean, I've been doing that for quite a while. Once you learn how to do it, like once you kind of get the gist of like flips and stuff, you don't really forget, you know. And with a diving board, there's not really much impact because it's super slow, right? Like that up and down motion of the jump is, it's not insane. It's very steady. Just because, I mean, you know, jumping off the ground, like doing a standing backflip, do I think I could do it? I think so. Do I think I would hurt myself landing it? I think I know so. I think I definitely know so. So I think those days are probably behind me, at least on like regular ass ground. You know, you give me like a little 8-inch gymnastics mat to land on, that's a little bit of a different story. But that'd be a rough headline. That'd be rough and also equally stupid. Sam Sulek breaks his neck doing a backflip. I really hope that's not a premonition. But yeah, getting back to the lift, hamstrings thrashed. Hamstrings are freaking thrashed. So that was good. And a little bit higher volume than typical. And part of the reason for that is definitely because with hamstrings, you kind of, I don't know. I mean, it takes a minute to get used to an insane set of hamstrings. like over the course of the next few weeks, I mean, I'll be doing the stack. I mean, I think I've done the stack on that hamstring curl with the extra 5 pounds of incremental weight and like an extra, yeah, I don't know if I've ever done an extra 2 plates. I think only an extra 1 plate, but still, like that was pretty standard as just like a hefty working set. The problem is if you go too heavy on a laying curl or a seated curl, you can pull something. So I gotta ease into that, because as soon as I pull something, well, I'm a freaking fool. Not good. So I want to ride the line with hamstrings of obviously enough weight that I'm doing, I was about to say substantial damage. Some guys don't like that. Some people don't like to say doing damage in the sense of like, when we say micro tears as like a muscle building stimulus. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense in my head to imagine it as though, okay, I'm coming in. If I do some substantially heavy sets, that mechanical tension and like workload through my muscles contracting is definitely doing something. And to get them super pumped up and swollen for a temporary period is also doing something. The old school logic was a little more pump focused, to say like, okay, all of this extra, you're sending blood and nutrients into the muscle by pumping it up, which I think there's definitely an angle. Somebody who's getting solid pumps is definitely having solid lifts, but they're not mutually exclusive. I can get an insane lower back pump in an off season just bending over doing the dishes or like folding laundry. That doesn't mean I just really worked my lower back well. But if I do work my lower back well, if I do work a muscle well, well, then I'm going to be pumped at the end of it. So it's that's kind of the back and forth. But yeah, man, I was about to say it's freaking nice out. So I think I definitely want some UV exposure. So yeah, I guess I should probably edit this together first. But the sun's already setting. I don't want to lose out. So I think I'll edit this guy together after I go out and lie on the back patio. So that, coupled with some kind of protein-based meal, not sure what that protein is going to be. Maybe cartoned egg whites. That's a possibility. That's a strong possibility, actually. So I think that'll be it. But yeah, other than that, shit, man, just get to enjoy the day. That's for sure. I got to, I think I want to get a bike. So I had a bike back in school. I used to bike to class, but I think it was the end of my junior year, I got into this habit of leaving it out in front of my little like school apartment, and I wouldn't lock it. And I did that like all year, pretty much a year straight of just parking it in the front kind of patio, and nothing ever happened. So I'm getting kind of mentally conditioned to think, you know what, shit, man, I don't need to lock this thing up. I would still lock it up when I'd park it in town, but somehow, I don't know, just the ease of pulling in and kicking out the kickstand was good enough for me. And of course, this was it was the morning of like one of my final exams, and I was already cutting it close. Like, okay, it's 10 minutes from exam, and I'm about a 10-minute bike ride away. All right, well, that works. Get out, have a little moment of, so I had to call my buddy, and he drove me over because he had a truck. So, kind of freaking saves me. But I never replaced it, and that thing was fucking cool. It was like I think it was a Marlin. It was a Trek Marlin, which was just about right. So, I live a little bit further from the city right here, so I guess maybe the Stang is going to get a bike rack put on the back. Maybe not, though. That would look kind of silly. So, I don't know. It would, I mean, how bad is it to really leave it out in the rain? Because what if I just found like a rack somewhere in here where I didn't think anybody was going to steal it, and I could just leave it chained up, and whenever I want to go on a bike ride, I'd come out, unlock it, and then I'd be good. I don't know. It seems kind of risky. If you know about like a solid bike that could hold a 250-pound guy, that could also fold up into a little trunk, that would be perfect. But I don't think such a thing exists. At least not a quality one. Or if it does, it's like, probably insanely expensive for a bike. So who's to say? Who is to freaking say? But all I gotta do now, go eat some food, chill a little bit, not crash into this person for pulling out in front of me, and then I'll be good. So tomorrow's a chest day, and I'm gonna branch out. This is, I think it's starting to make me feel weird that I keep going to an empty gym. So tomorrow is gonna be somewhere different. Tomorrow's gonna be somewhere different. Where exactly? Not totally sure, but it'll be somewhere, and it'll be a nasty ass chest pump to boot. So now I'm already getting freaking excited about it. Just talking about it right there. But yeah, that'll be good. Maybe I'll eat a little extra carbs tonight and try to wake up a little bit fuller, just so I can have a super freaky lift. But either way, I will see you for that tomorrow, and I'm gonna get on a little bit of a better schedule. Shit. I just said all that shit about going to a different gym, but I just remembered I got to be at the airport at like 10, because we're headed over to Colorado Discount Nutrition. They got a huge kind of supplement store. I mean, I thought so. We just did one at the Vegas Discount Nutrition, so same thing, same place, but just kind of a little spin-off name for the Colorado one. And dude, some big ass names pulled up. Buendia, Jeremy Buendia was there. Sergio Oliva Jr. It was a whole thing. So that was pretty cool. So if you happen to be around the Colorado Discount Nutrition, well, I'll be there. I forget the time. I think it's either, I think it might be 1 to 4. One, I don't know, something like that. But either way, if you're there, I guess that's only 2 days from now. I'll see you there. But I'm going to get back on a better schedule of like having these all ready to be uploaded at like 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe a little bit earlier. I gotta get back on my consistent game. The late uploads suck. I know they do. I'm sorry about that. So I'm gonna get that worked on for sure. So hold me to it. If I upload any of these past 3 p.m., not including this one, of course, just start flaming in the comments. That'll help me stick to it. But yeah, now nothing else to say. So I'll see you tomorrow for some chest.